Happy Saturday, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update with yours truly. As always, we've got a lot to get into. It's been a wonderful week for the cryptocurrency space. I'm sure many of you are noticing the flamboyancy of your portfolios over the past few days, and long may it continue. In fact, we believe it's going to, based on all those falling wedges that we've been highlighting, which are essentially trend continuation patterns in what we believe is a broader uptrend for this market. We will be taking a look at that. But to start the video off, I want to start with where Bitcoin ETF inflows are. They are now at new all-time highs in regards to TVL within these ETFs. And that, I think, is going to be a precursor for ultimately the markets and technically what we're looking at. And it's very much playing out. And we've been spot on about Bitcoin since it bottomed at 17,000, including making the call to get back into the markets. 16, 17,000, someone's going to get me on that. Then we're going to look at exchange or Bitcoin on exchanges. We'll relate all this to some price action. I'm going to talk to you about the fourth most traded stock in the world ahead of Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google. And it happens to be a crypto stock. And it's very interesting. And BlackRock, of course, on the 9th of May, which was yesterday, met secretly with the SEC. And we're going to look at what came out of all that and, of course, relate it to the markets more broadly. Strap yourselves in, guys. Let's dive in. This is from James Seyfarth, who is one of the asset management people over at Bloomberg. Great guy to follow along with Eric Balanchunas, who he tags here. After yesterday's inflows, the spot Bitcoin ETFs are now at a new high watermark for lifetime flows, currently at $40.3 billion, according to Bloomberg data. This is huge, ladies and gentlemen. And when we were getting the rumors and looking at the idea of BlackRock even offering ETFs or people offering ETFs around Bitcoin, we had done a kind of case study here on the channel at what happened to the S&P 500 when it had its first ETF, testing my memory now here, Rupert, in 1994. Look at the trajectory the S&P 500 went on after that, and gold in 2004. They both went on insane trajectories. Certainly gold, because now BlackRock were offering it as part of a portfolio in a far easier manner due to the ETFs around gold being accessible. Bitcoin is on that similar trajectory. It's only going to grow and build, and it introduced a real buyer to the markets. And I think there's going to be far more of them. I think nation states is one that we're yet to really see publicly anyway. We've got companies. There's going to be copycat micro strategies. We see that with likes of MetaPlanet and others out there, and a whole host of other participants, funds. Obviously ETFs are a fund, but family offices, retail. There's so much buy pressure for Bitcoin. It's literally not funny, and there's a lot more to come. And actually look at the amount of Bitcoin on exchanges. This is Bitcoin in regards to exchange reserves. You might not be able to see that because my big head and camera's in the way, but it's literally at all-time lows for exchanges. There's around about 2.5 million Bitcoin on exchanges, which actually is quite a lot. But the trend of this, Bitcoin continues to get taken off exchanges, which I think is symbiotic with accumulation, I would certainly say. And when we relate all of this to Bitcoin's price action, you guys know, we say it every day. We always just give a quick short recap on where we think Bitcoin's going and why. Because it's that tide that essentially will rise all the ships. And since we got back into the markets down here, this has just been a beautiful technical chart for us, whether it was this smaller head and shoulders that we looked at that made target, whether it's this head and shoulders that we've got here that takes you to 150k, whether it's this bull flag that we made the first target for, that we broke out of a flag-like structure on, or whether it's this wedge that sees us get continuation, or the cup and handle that we have taken Bitcoin to 306,000. This is just perfect. It's been a technical beaut for us, and actually today, the falling wedge that we looked at down here and the possibilities of it, it's just textbook. It's playing out. You're going to engulf this entire pullback and then go on to continuation. This was the kind of pattern that we drew out of it. And it's coming to fruition, and so is the rest of the market. We didn't just look at Bitcoin in regards to this bullish lens. We looked at the total cryptocurrency market caps, all doing the same thing. Total 2, Total 3, others. Crypto ETPs, look at these for falling wedge breaks. It is all coming to fruition, and that's the value of technical analysis. It's not a silver bullet. It's not going to give you a 100% win rate. Every time you see something, even as textbook as these falling wedges are, but what it is going to do is when you see this pattern, increase the probabilities of you being right on what's to come next. And that's as good as anything when it comes in the markets. I'm a true believer in technical analysis. If you guys want to get more into that, do become a patron. We are sort of scheduling more and more courses, and of course you'll unlock my full portfolio, including some of those real gems out there. I very much shifted the field that I'm more bullish on. Obviously, stablecoins and the enabling of that, I think, is a major opportunity. But there's plays upon that. And I think there's one crypto that reigns supreme in there, and it's not the one that everyone thinks. But crypto is just doing exactly what we expected. We also looked at crypto stocks like MicroStrategy. And actually, very interestingly, MicroStrategy is the fourth most traded stock ahead of most Mag 7s. Obviously, Tesla's the most, Nvidia, then Palantir, of course, and then MicroStrategy. Now, isn't that interesting as essentially a Bitcoin play is seeing more interest than Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, and Alphabet? And by who? Well, look at who the largest holders of strategy are. It's your institutional companies, along with miners. There's real opportunities in miners. I'm actually very bullish on miners. My largest stock is a miner that I hold. I won't disclose it here. Then secondly is Coinbase, which has just been amazing for us and is going to continue to do so. So that's interesting. I think puts a bullish slant on everything in regards to MicroStrategy being very heavily traded. You've got to ask how and why. Yesterday, this is from BlackRock, SEC Task Force from BlackRock, request for meeting with the SEC Crypto Task Force. We request a meeting with the SEC Crypto Task Force to discuss the following topics below. Overview of BlackRock's digital asset product suite. Provide an overview of market development with respect to IBIT and ETH and BlackRock's USD institutional digital liquidity fund build. Huge. Staking, discuss perspectives on treatment of staking, including consideration for facilitating ETPs with staking capabilities, which we know is coming. I think that's interesting. How does staking affect ETFs? Well, if you can put your money into something that gives you a 10% return or something like that, that's a very exciting prospect, isn't it? Tokenization. Discuss consideration for advancing tokenization of securities under federal securities and regulatory framework. Crypto ETP approval standards. Discuss specific factors that could be applied for approving crypto ETPs, including sufficient means to meet the standards under securities under Section 6B of the Exchange Act. And 2, consideration for potential interim framework for ETP issuer activities. I've said this. In the coming weeks, I think BlackRock is going to file for likely an XRP, a Solana, and a Solana ETF. Why would they not front run this? They did it with Ethereum. They're going to do it with this. They might be the last one to file. But once they're over that threshold, I think that's going to be a huge catalyst for the markets because it essentially solidifies that it's going to happen. BlackRock have like a 9% win rate plus on ETF approvals. Options on crypto ETPs, discussing standards for determining appropriate positioning and exercise limits for crypto or options on crypto ETPs, including liquidity thresholds for underlying securities. We do have options on crypto. Durbit was bought by Coinbase, but not to the degree you do on other instruments. Like options, they can be very hard because not only do you have to get price right, you have to get time right in most cases. But this is just nothing short of bullish, and everybody who's anybody is getting into the cryptocurrency space right now and looking to enable this industry. A blind man could see it. And somebody actually in the comment section found it offensive that I used that phrase, which I just think is the most hilarious thing. It truly shows how far mankind has came. But it's just so obvious, everything that's going on. And this is just more confirmation on top of all the confirmation that we brought you over this week. It just doesn't stop. And this is James Seyfarth sort of breaking down, really in more detail exactly what was discussed. There was an amendment from the S1 that just dropped from BlackRock in regards to their ETH. It's really about disclosure agreements and risks like quantum computing, and the SEC want more of that in there in regards to the sort of footnotes around it all. So you guys know me. I'm eternally an optimist. I'm more optimistic on Trump's America economically, which upsets some people, but hey ho, that's just how I truly think. I'm more of an optimist on Trump's America than most people. I think the tariffs are going to end up getting resolved. And there's going to be casualties of that. Of course, I'm not a tariff person. I don't believe in tariffs. But I think in a tariff world, if you've got tariffs on you, how do you combat that? Well, you levy the same. You fight fire with fire, essentially. Certainly from a technical point of view, the cryptocurrency space has all the hallmarks of beginning to and producing some serious fruit. And there's never been such an amazing time to be in the cryptocurrency space, ladies and gentlemen. It is truly a golden opportunity that is here right now. If you look, let's just use H-bar for an example. I mean, look at this falling wedge playing out perfectly. Still got a long way to go, but if we use H-bar as an example on log, generally, most of these altcoins have only just broke out of their cumulative range, and they've got a broad phase 2 ahead of them, and hopefully we can get everyone through that journey. I think this is going to be the biggest crypto bull market in history. I think you're going to see coins just do insane things. I mean, Ethereum's been doing exceptionally well recently. I mean, I think this might be one of the biggest rallies for Ethereum we've seen in a long time. What's Ethereum up over the past couple of weeks? 69%, you know. I still think this is phase 2 that you've got ahead of you for Ethereum and the markets more broadly. But ladies and gentlemen, that is really it from me. Stay bullish, because you have every reason to be. Of course, always do your own analysis and come up with your own opinion, but there's just so much happening and it's just so bullish. That's it from me, guys. I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and I'll see you all in the next daily market update.